Good evening, all. Hope everyone is well and you're having a lovely weekend so far. It's one of those nights tonight. You've got me all to yourselves. Good afternoon, good evening, I should say. Gary T of the North. Lovely to see you. Hi, Tanya. Nice to see you. Wendy, Karma, all lots of you piling in already. It's going to be a good show tonight. We've got a lot of things to talk about, got a lot of things to get through. I've got some big news coming up later on in the show that I think you're going to be pleased about and find exciting. We'll come to that later. We're going to be talking about later on, we're going to be talking about Robert Jenrick. And I noticed a few people in the comments earlier was saying, oh, no, you know, you're not going to be having a go at Nigel again, are you? No, not at all. We're not having a go at Nigel. We are just looking at Robert Jenrick, what he's doing. More importantly, I think what he's up to. I mean, he's up to something, right? English Realist says Jenrick is on the losing team. He can say what he wants. It's not going to change anything. Hello, Paul, and the chat. Do you know what, English Realist? I agree with you, but there's a concern there as well. I'll come to that a little bit later. But what's first on the agenda tonight is, I'm afraid, I've had a look round up and down the country today, looking at the, been watching the various pro-Hamas, pro-terrorist, pro-Hezbollah marches up and down the country. And I've got to be honest with you, I'm sick to death at looking at people dressed like terrorists, openly supporting terrorism, spouting their anti-Semitic, anti-Jewish and anti-British bile on our streets. And it's been taking place right across the UK today, especially in London. When will the police get a grip of all this lot and put them in their place? Because I think they're being allowed to take liberties and to take advantage of our tolerance. And this has got to stop. Now, it's not even necessarily about their cause, because everyone's entitled to their own viewpoints and everyone's entitled to have their say. This is the UK. But if these people had their way, we wouldn't be having our say. Let's be clear on this. And the Jewish people that live in this country will be run out of town at best. And it's looking to me like tens of thousands of people appear to have been radicalised in this country since last October the 7th. And that is very worrying indeed for me. We're going to be looking at some of the videos that have come through over the last couple of hours, and they're not pleasant, I can tell you that. Absolutely had enough of it. Let me know what you think in the comments. Jake, your first live stream. Welcome, my friend. Good evening, Lee. Susan said, oh, that's good news at last. No, I'm not going to be having a go about Nigel tonight. Not at all. It's not about having a go at him. Look, I remain a supporter of reform, 100%. But I think at the moment, Robert Jenrick is trying to, and I think he's doing a pretty grand job of trying to sound more like Nigel Farage than Nigel himself. Let's have a little, I'll tell you what, we'll give it a couple of minutes. We're going to have a little listen to some of the things that he's been saying. Sid's a new member. Thank you very much, Sid. Really appreciate that. All the best, my friend. Thank you, Mickey. Appreciate that. I'll tell you where this come from in a minute. Primark. There you go. Julie says, Robert Jenrick is a waste of space. Is a dangerous waste of space, Julie. Is a very dangerous waste of space, in my opinion. But Look, we'll get to that a little bit later. I think first of all, let's go back to the pro-Hamas marches today in London. Now, I've watched quite a bit of the footage from today, and I can't see that I saw many riot vans or police officers in riot gear. No doubt they were around. They're usually in the back streets somewhere. But they don't appear to be up front like they do with us Brits, right? And there are things that can clearly be being said, heard, shouted, that are without question inflammatory, inciting violence, and they are certainly intimidating the Jewish community, who once again will have had to stay indoors on a sunny Saturday afternoon and off the streets of London for fear of their own lives. Now, if this was the other way around, if we were seeing hundreds of thousands of our Jewish community on the streets carrying offensive placards, I'd be saying the same thing. But we're not seeing that, are we? We're only seeing it from one side. And frankly, I think the British public have had enough, and they've had enough of the two-tier policing system. Let's have a little listen to one or two videos that have emerged today. Freedom fighters will finish you all off. I wonder what that means. I wonder if the Met Police are showing any interest in that particular gentleman. Freedom fighters will finish you all off. I wonder what he means. Let's have a little look at. Let's have a look at this one. Now, the thing that I noticed there is the police officers dressed in regular uniform, no riot gear, no crash helmets, no dogs, nothing, just regular police officers. Not what we're used to seeing when the Brits are out, is it? Let's have a little look at this one. Now, if you don't know what she's singing there, she's actually referring to Jews having their heads shaved in concentration camps. What's it like to have no hair? Is it hot or is it cold? Anti-Semitism, racism, whatever you want to call it, at its finest. Let's have a listen again. Nothing from the police again, which is not surprising, is it? But it doesn't get any better.
No bomb, Tel Aviv! Hezbollah, make us proud! Burn the settlers to the ground! Hezbollah, make us proud! Burn the settlers to the ground! Hezbollah, make us proud! Burn the settlers to the ground!
Hezbollah, make us proud, burn the settlers to the ground. What do you think? You think that's do you think that's suitable for London streets? Do you think that would be acceptable if that was another religion? Because I know what I think. It wouldn't be acceptable, and it's not acceptable. It's not acceptable now. It wouldn't be acceptable from any community talking about any religion. And frankly, I'm sick to death of it, like I'm sure that most of you guys are. And, you know, look, for most of us, this isn't about, as I said earlier, taking sides or not wanting to see war come to an end. I'm sure that all of us, we want to see war and death come to an end. We don't want it. particularly when it involves children and innocent people. But these people on our streets are displaying a hatred for the Jewish community and for our country. Israel is an ally of the United Kingdom. These people have got to get used to it. They've got to accept it. They've got to respect it. Or maybe they should leave for a country where their beliefs are more fitting. And the way things are going, I've got to be honest with you, I fear another terrorist attack in this country isn't that far away. I really fear that. And the message to those supporting Hamas and the other terrorist organisations is simple. Look, you're not wanted here. We don't want anyone here that wants to get involved in terrorism and violence. You're not welcome, and we will never allow your hatred to overcome us and engulf our society with your bigotry. Either live among us in peace or go somewhere else. This is not Palestine. This is not the Middle East. This is England, and it belongs to us. Don't ever forget it. So take your hatred somewhere else, please, because frankly, I think your average everyday Brit is sick to death of it. Thank you very much, Susan. Really appreciate that. Steve says, let's all send the Israel embassy an email of our support on Monday. Not a bad idea. Simon, thank you very much. Hi, Paul, on the Hamas-Palestine marches. If these people want to know what they were supporting, they should search a young woman by the name of Islam Hajazi. She was an aid worker for Palestine. Thank you very much, Simon. Appreciate that. Yes, they are spreading like a disease, says Lorraine. I mean, look, I say this time and time and time again. This is our country. We don't want to see it destroyed. We don't want to see hatred on our streets. And it's getting out of control. It's a virus that is spreading worse than COVID. Says it's beyond worry now, Paul. Well, I think, I just think we've had enough. Lily says the 26th million man march we need. And I think if you look at what's taken place today, this is why the 26th is so important, that we go out and show how it should be done peacefully, without any hatred, without the hatred. George says the Jews took advantage of our hospitality first, and now they're inviting all and sundry to do the same. Wake up. George, I don't think I need waking up. I have never ever seen or heard of or remember a Jewish terrorist attack in our country. I don't remember the Jewish community causing problems. I don't remember the Jewish community doing anything wrong, quite honestly. If I'm wrong, put me right. Tell me what they've done. How did they take advantage of our hospitality? All I see is a peaceful community that gets on with their lives. How you can say that, George? Look around what is going on in London right now, and you're trying to blame the Jews. How does that work? Lucy says, very concerned about the anniversary on Monday. Yeah, I must admit, that has gone through my mind. Wendy, going back to Robert Jenrick, says he's not the answer. I'm not saying he is. I'm saying he's trying to trick us. Says can't wait till the 26th. Before we get into Mr. Jenrick, let's have a little look at a video that was sent in by one of our lady viewers.
Hello, Paul. This is Sharon Ray, True Brit, Coffee Girl 72 on X, and I have a prediction. Everyone will know this prediction, but I have a prediction. And I can tell you, in between now and Christmas, if Keir Starmer isn't out before Christmas, which fingers crossed, I hope so, then we will hear, I've smashed the gangs, I've stopped the boats, I've reduced the boats, whatever, because the waters will be too choppy for them to come over. And he and his Labour Party think that we're totally divvy. They think we've got nothing there. They seriously do. What they're forgetting is we're British, and we're educated, and we learn, and we know, and we can tell a lie a mile off. But that's my prediction anyway. It'll all start up again after Christmas, come spring. It'll all start up again. But I want to send all my love to all of you. My love to Tommy, my love to Richard, Danny, you, Paul, Maya, everyone. I want to say what a fantastic job you do. What a fantastic job you do. And keep your chins up, because we're British.
Thank you very much for that. Keep our chins up. We will. Now, the reason that I wanted to play that one particularly tonight was because she brought up a very, very good point. And by the way, guys, I've got to tell you, you see that number at the bottom of the screen that's running across the screen there, where you can send in your video and audio messages only to the show. The girls are a lot more forthcoming than the boys. Now, she made a very good point. And that was about the numbers coming over due to the weather. Now, the other day I saw a tweet from one of the morons in the Labour Party saying that Labour are managing to bring down the numbers over the last few weeks. Do they think we're completely start raving bonkers? Listen, I live about 50 yards from the sea. I know what the water does and what it doesn't. And the reason the numbers have been lower is because the water has been shocking full 6, 7, 8, 9 at times over the last few weeks. That is why the numbers are lower. Now, today, the sea was a lot calmer. And this is the resulting tragedy. Let me just remove that comment a sec so I can see that. 4 people, including a 2-year-old boy, have died whilst attempting to cross the English Channel, French authorities say. The authorities said they were found unconscious and were likely trampled to death in 2 separate boats that had engine failures. French Interior Minister Bruno Retailleau called the deaths a terrible tragedy, which of course they are, adding that the people smugglers have blood on their hands. And I have to say that so indeed do our government and those that refuse to stop the boats. How many times has this been said that we need to stop the boats for so many reasons, not least today, the tragic loss of a 2-year-old child. There's blood on a lot of people's hands. There's blood on the people's hands that go out with their placards saying refugees welcome here. Refugees may be welcome here, but only if they come through the proper routes, the correct routes. Otherwise, this is what happens. A 2-year-old child potentially trampled to death. Absolutely horrible. So, guys, I've got a little bit of good news. You know, Danny, Big Danny, that's on my show regular, he's not on tonight, and he's not on for a very good reason, because he's at a birthday party and he's due to announce that he's got a new baby due. Well done, Danny. Congratulations to Danny and Sophie. That's lovely. Nice to have a bit of good news for once. Absolutely excellent. So he's just messaged me and said it's gone public. So there you go. Danny's going to be a dad again. Lovely, Danny. Let's have a little look in the chat. Jake says reform all the way from me, for me. Mark says Jenrick had his chance and did nothing. Well, I tend to agree. They all talk a good talk, don't they? Ian says Conservatives talk the talk but don't walk the walk. We've heard it all before. Absolutely. Valerie says Nigel all day long. D says sign the pledge, people. Yep, don't forget to sign the pledge if you haven't done so already. I'll pop the address up there. Lee says first time I've seen them battens drawn today, Paul. Yeah, they draw them, but they're not using them. I mean, I go back to St George's Day, and I cannot forget the behaviour of the police on St George's Day and how they treated us, how quick they were to careless, how quick they were to draw their bans. And I don't forget these things. This is the two-tier policing that we talk about. Robert says, Robert Jenrick or Nigel Farage, who will deliver? Good evening, Sonia. Thank you very much. Windy Ridge says it's Islamofascism. I tend to agree. Steve says, can we have a stream with Richard before the 25th? We will do, guys. And I'll tell you what, I'll give you that little bit of exciting exclusive news. Subject to everything going okay. On Monday evening, this coming Monday, the 7th of October, I have for you a world exclusive, and I'll give you a little preview. Let me just find it. There we go. Monday evening, 8 p.m. UK time. Monday evening, 8 p.m. UK time. An exclusive with Tommy. He's coming home. And he's going to tell us all about that. And he's going to tell us all about his new book, Manifesto. There's a link in the video description below. If you want to support him, if you want to buy his new book, there's a link in the video description below. So Monday night, 8 p.m, world exclusive with the man himself. Got a lot of questions for him, and I'm sure you guys have too. That's coming up on Monday. All being well, subject to no problems. Mandy, thank you so much, Mandy. We have just returned from Dubai. This would not be tolerated. No, it's not tolerated in Dubai, Mandy. They won't have any of it out there. No, not at all. They won't have it. KGT, Tiggs, thank you. Radicalisation of the lefty youth started well before October the 7th. Remember BBC comedy, The Young Ones? In particular, the character Neil, it became trendy to be anti-British. Oh, yeah, it's been going on for years. But I'm talking about the radicalisation of a lot of people who previously I wouldn't have considered to have extremist views. Bob, thank you very much. Paul, Danny, happy birthday to your beautiful Christian child. Lovely. Sharon, thank you. It took about 15 minutes for me to do that video. Well done, Sharon. You did well. That was good. Thank you very much. Say the girls are a lot braver than the boys. They step forward a bit more, I think. Richard always says the women in this movement are much more ballsy than the men. Donna says, I am sick of endless wars. Wait till the millions of Lebanese who are trying to get here. We, the USA, cause most of this shit. Never mind illegal occupation of Palestine. Resistance is terrorist. Well, there won't be millions of Lebanese people trying to get here because I think there's only about 4 million Lebanese people in the Lebanon. And to be honest with you, all the Lebanese people I've ever met have been very nice. It's, again, we mustn't confuse the ordinary people with the terrorist organisations. Victoria, Starmer is straight out of Orwell's 1984. Glamorous Lioness, I feel sick. Yep, some of that stuff does make you feel sick, doesn't it? Nicola says that flag should not be allowed on our streets. I agree. It's time that flag was banned, just like it's banned in the UAE, by the way. They won't have it at all. Let's go through, got a few voice messages as well, some good ones tonight. Let's have a little listen to this one first of all.
Hi, Paul. I'm ringing up to ask if there's anything that can be done alongside the pledge, just to explain, like small video or something for people to understand what the pledge is all about. As I've sent it to everyone in my WhatsApp group, and loads haven't signed it because they didn't understand what it was all about. Hi, Paul.
Yeah, that's a very good point. We need to do that, actually. We need to put some videos together, just to explain, short videos that people can WhatsApp around. Thank you very much for that. We will definitely get around to doing that. Let's have a little listen to another one.
Hi, Paul. First off, thank you for all you're doing. Doing a massive service to us all, getting all this out there. I've just come off watching your show and listened to the message for that poor lady in London who's too scared to leave her house. I mean, I live in Surrey, I work in London every day, and I can see exactly why she wouldn't want to leave her house. I was threatened to be killed on the way home from work the other day, and to this moment now, I don't even know what that was about. But yeah, the geezer was proper serious as well. But the reason why I was calling in was the police. They've got no time to deal with that, no time to go and sort out this and that. I'm currently trying to write back to the police about an incident which they got reported into them and they responded to, of me driving past a cyclist. The cyclist has managed to record it and said that I didn't give him 1.5 metres. We drove past each other completely safely. There was no incident, there was no problem. Maybe it wasn't exactly 1.5 metres. But my point is, they've got time to respond to that. And I, like a lot of people, lease a motor. So it has to go to the lease company first. They have to then send it to my company. My company then has to write and say I was driving. Then they have to send it out. So they've sent a list letter out 3 times so far for me to respond to say that I drove past someone. No one got hurt. No one got nudged off the bike or anything. We just simply drove past each other. They've got time to do that. But some kiddie's getting threatened with a knife and they just leave him. It's absolutely mental. Anyway, that's my 2 pennies worth. Keep up the good work. See you on the 26th.
Yep, see you on the 26th, mate. I really appreciate that. And I've got another very touching video coming in from another lady, another viewer to the channel. Let me play you this one.
Hiya Paul, I'm 34, I live in London. I literally live about 10 minutes away from Keir Starmer's property in Kentish Town. I know Richard spoke about Kentish Town and the stabbing in a previous podcast. To be honest, Richard did have it a bit wrong. Yes, there are some beautiful properties and it is very expensive to buy around here, but we've also got a lot of council estates. Kentish Town itself is full of junkies. There's constantly something kicking off. Knife crime is going through the roof. Sexual assaults are increasing. and there are phone jackings happening every day by knife point. So it's not as pretty as Richard thinks. My daughter goes to a school around here as well, and the child poverty is literally, I didn't realise how bad it was until I was speaking with her the other day, and she's telling me about the number of children in her school that go all day without eating. Their parents work, so they don't get free school meals, but yeah, they have to starve all day. This is what our government are doing. Our children can't walk safely on the streets without the fear of being stabbed or robbed or sexually assaulted. Our children have to go hungry every single day at school. Child poverty is through the roof. Yet we're able to find money to pay for illegal immigrants, translators, for accommodation, to give them benefits, to give them mobile phones. We also seem to find a lot of money to send arms to other countries, and we seem to find a lot of money for foreign aid and also to reline the pockets of the EU. But we can't seem to find the money to stop our children from going hungry or put more police on the streets and make our streets safer. I'm absolutely sick to death of Sadiq Khan and Labour, and we had a warning on what Labour was going to be like, because we all know what it's been like living with Sadiq Khan as mayor for the last God knows how many years now, and whoever voted him, I don't know, but yeah, they need their heads testing, because our city is just getting worse and worse and worse, and our children have got no hope on a brighter future unless something changes dramatically. It's start time that Britain put our children first, protected them, and give them the best start to
The message cut off there, but I mean, look, I would love to give that lady a round of applause. What a fantastic message, but also very sad and very frustrating, makes you really angry. I mean, the politicians never hear messages like this. Do they just live in do they live in their own world, a complete bubble away from reality? Do people not care about this lady's message, and the lady that sent a message in last week that received such an amazing response? Where are these people's hearts? Where are their souls? Do they not have any? Where's their integrity? Where's their humanity? And the way this lady speaks, I mean, it's like this country is trying to commit political and cultural harry-carry, isn't it? I just don't understand it. Right now, I feel like I'm living in a dream. I feel like I'm living in a dream that in a minute we're going to wake up from, because when I was growing up in the 70s and the 80s, and I never envisaged the time when my own country would hate me, when my own government would view me as a second class, third class, fourth class citizen. I never believed that our former armed services, our veterans, would have to sleep on the streets because they had nowhere to live, and that we will be housing the very people potentially that they were fighting in a foreign land that we sent them there to go and fight. It's beyond my comprehension. I can't get my head around it. I don't know what's going on. And I know that so many of you feel the same. 2,654 wonderful people watching. Guys, please give me the thumbs up. It really helps with the algorithm and the video. So if you don't do anything else tonight, please give me the thumbs up at least. But we're living in this nightmare, aren't we? We've got hundreds of thousands of people who clearly hate this country. Deep down, let's have it right. Their loyalty does not lie with this country. If there was a war tomorrow between the United Kingdom and some of these states, we know whose side they be on. They would be the enemy within. In the Second World War, they would have been interned. I don't understand it. I don't understand what's going on. My mind can't really comprehend what's happening. I can't work it out. I can't work out what they're trying to do to us and our country. I mean, if they want to just ruin it, I mean, just tell us. Just spit it out. But I'm confused. And I know a lot of you guys feel the same. Colin's a new member. Thank you very much, Colin. Bob Hunter, Tommy coming back to the Lion's Den. God bless. David, thank you, David. These marches have got our hand, just like crime and immigration, because we have weak, spineless traitors governing our country. LJ, how many have signed the pledge so far, Paul? I don't know, actually, because I don't have access to the database, but I can tell you it is many, many, many thousands. And we've got some big things in the pipeline as well. Bob, again, Tommy, thank you, Bob. Tommy and Jeremy Clarkson are brothers. What a great brother that caller was, being ripped off from King John Starmer. Bob, you're at it tonight, mate. Thank you. I'm so glad, Paul, that you're on our side. Well, Bob, I'm glad that you guys are on my side, because, you know, living where I live sometimes, you walk around and you feel that you're living in a place where anyone that loves our country is deemed a far-right fascist. And it's all becoming a bit too much, quite honestly, for a lot of people, I think. And I think what hurts more than anything, I think what hurts and what is confusing is when we witnessed how the police treated some of our people recently. I'm not talking about the rioters. They deserve what they got, most of them, not all of them. But when you look at the way they were handcuffing 70-year-old grandmothers, look at the way they treated us on St. George's Day. This two-tier policing is not a myth. It's a fact. It's an undisputable fact. The evidence is right there in front of our very eyes. And it's extremely distressing. By the way, yesterday, just off the subject for a moment, yesterday I sat and watched a series on Netflix, and I was hooked. I watched it from start to finish. I'm just trying to, it's called The Confession. If you haven't seen The Confession on Netflix, I highly recommend it. Very upsetting, but very, very, the acting I thought was unbelievable. The Confession, it's on Netflix. If you haven't seen it, highly recommend it. Susan says the police don't care. I'd like to think that's not true, but I don't know. It's all. I think so many people now have had enough. Michelle says we need to protect our Jewish community from this evil. And you know, again, for anyone watching with an opposing view to my own, that's fine. You're welcome to your opinion. I talk about what happens home here mostly. Colin says it's not about religion. Most of us couldn't care. It's about respect. Mandy says, are they going to be called thugs? Well, look, they'll be ignored, won't they? The whole thing will be ignored because that's the way it's been. And there's a good point there about the masks. People wearing masks are not welcome on the 26th. And the reason they're not welcome on the 26th is because we don't want troublemakers around us. We don't want to see trouble. We don't want troublemakers. We don't want any problems. We want good people. Mickey, you can't take your dear old mum out shopping on a Saturday afternoon in London. Mickey, that's a great point. And I've got to say, here's a question for her, for everyone in the chat right now, for everyone watching, nearly 3,000 people. Has the time now come, and I hate saying this, but has the time now come where we need to boycott Sadiq Khan's London? Boycott businesses and everything that is London until Khan and the police can deliver it back in safety to us, the British people. If Khan and the Met want to hand London over to all things that are bad, isn't it time that we stuck two fingers up to our capital city? So would a complete and utter ban, a boycott on all things London be in order until this nonsense stops and until the so-called Mayor of London, Sadiq Khan, gets a hold of these protests, stops the hate marches, and just as importantly, if not more importantly, gets a grip of knife crime. I go to London very, very rarely now. I used to be in London about 3 times a week. I now go to London once a month if I have to. And I'll continue to avoid London. I'll continue to avoid spending my money in London and in all London businesses until the Mayor and the Met gets this sorted out. Because quite frankly, I'll say it for the umpteenth time, I'm sure we've all had enough. Right, so we're 43 minutes in. Let's get into the main topic of the evening, which is Robert Jenrick. Is he trying to out Farage? And if he is, at the moment, I think he's making a pretty decent job of it. Let's have a little listen to what Robert Jenrick, candidate for the Conservative Party leadership, let's have a little listen to one or two of the things that he's been saying recently. I mean, what's not to like? Let's have a listen.
The issue is that someone like Mike Freer and others across the country are victims of virulent anti-British Islamist extremism. We have to call that out, properly diagnose it, and take action against it. Islamism of this kind is a cancer. It's got to be rooted out and destroyed. And you don't even begin to do that until you have an honest conversation about the fact that it exists in our society and that it's threatening people all of the time. It's pervasive and growing, and we've got to tackle it.
Now, there you go, guys. Now, like I said, what's not to like? Now, here's the thing. That speech there from Robert Jenrick is more hardline than anything that I've heard Nigel say for a very long time, unless I've missed something. And Robert Jenrick knows that. That, I believe that's why he's saying it. Let's have a listen to some more.
Then the second one is about illegal migration. I think it's profoundly wrong for people to be entering our country illegally on small boats, well, it's according to the law, okay, the law says you can't enter the country illegally. If you or I crossed an international border or literally broke into another country, we would expect to be treated very seriously.
They broke into another country, are you? The people who come on small boats?
I am, yeah.
That's the phraseology you're happy to use, Minister?
I am. If somebody comes into our country on a small boat...
are breaking into our country?
Yes, they're coming into our country in flagrant breach of our immigration rules. That is wrong. I think it's doing untold damage to our country. That's why we're determined to stop it. We have made a lot of progress over the course of this year. The numbers coming out of small boats have reduced by around a third.
So why do we need to send them to Rwanda?
Because we want to go further. The public don't expect us just to reduce their numbers by a third, although that is amongst the best records of any European country. They want us to stop this in its entirety.
But you haven't managed to do that.
Well,
so yeah,
that's why. But that is why we want to do. That's why we want to get this plan up and running.
Are you?
And that was obviously before they were kicked out. I'm very sorry as well, by the way. Many apologies. I hope I didn't frighten anyone putting Kay Burley on the screen there. Did you hear what she said? So she said something like, so you're saying that people that come to this country illegally are breaking into this country, really? I mean, what is that? She's part of the problem. Believe me, she's part of the problem. There's some more.
The real issue of the events of the last 24 hours is not the party political shenanigans suggested by the shadow leader of the House. The real issue is that this House appears cowed by threats of violence and intimidation. The Mother of Parliaments appears weakened and diminished as a result. We have allowed our streets to be dominated by Islamist extremists, and British Jews and others to be too intimidated to walk through central London week after week. And now we're allowing Islamist extremists to intimidate British members of Parliament. This is wrong. It has to stop. Would my right honourable friend organise a debate on extremism and how we tackle this challenge, which is one of the central issues facing our generation?
So there he goes. And the last one that I want to play you is this one. This is much more recent.
It's hard to... Let's get serious and get them out.
So there you go. Robert Jenrick is indeed making a play to out Farage. Now, I don't know a lot about Robert Jenrick, to be fair. I like what he's saying. I like what he's having to say, but I don't know a lot about him. But I do know a lot about the Tories, having been a Tory voter for most of my life, and I just don't trust them anymore. I think they're a bunch of liars and a bunch of cowards. The problem for reform is that plenty will believe him, plenty will fall for it, and I think Jenrick is going to win this Conservative election. I think he will be the next leader. And they know, the Tories are well aware, that the way to damage reform is to speak like reform. And then they'll act like Labour when they get your vote. Now, a lot of you have said to me that I've been bashing Nigel unfairly, and some of you have got a bit fed up with it. Look, think of it this way. We all support the same team. I just prefer a different manager to manage that team. I'd prefer a manager that was a bit firmer and a bit more tuned in to the supporters. And we're all entitled to our opinions. So I'm on Nigel's side. Like I said, think of it like a football club. We all support the same team. It's reform all the way for me. But the question that I'm asking is this, is Robert Jenrick's narrative becoming a genuine danger to reform? And I believe it is. And if he gets into, if he wins, he's going to be an even bigger danger, because I believe he's going to continue to talk this way. I think in his heart, he probably believes what he's saying. He's probably sincere. But the problem is, it doesn't matter, because the wets that are in among him, that have infiltrated the Tory party, which is now like a bit like the old New Labour, if that makes sense. We know what's going to happen. We won't get what we're promised, and we must not fall for their spiel. We must not fall for their patter. We must not fall for their bullshit. Again, Bob says, Paul, love you, brother, and Lubna, thank you very much. I had a little message with Lubna yesterday. She's doing well. Adrian, thank you so much, Adrian. I wonder how much London businesses and the Treasury have lost due to the Islamist protests. Well, I think it's about time they lost some more. I think that KG Tiggs, thank you. Yes, boycott. They only care about the money. Look, I don't want to damage businesses in London. It's not where I want to be. And I certainly don't want to damage, you know, like the black cab drivers. I've got friends who are black cab drivers, you know, the salt of the earth. Most of them are on our side. I don't want to encourage taking away their business. But something's got to be done. And it's got to be peaceful. It has to be within the law. And we're all within our rights to say no to London. Don't eat out in London. Stop going out in London. Stop spending your money. If the businesses start to suffer, the mayor will have to act. Nina Vanava, thank you, Nina. Hi, Paul. They can talk the talk, but will they walk the walk? I don't think they will, Nina. And this is why the people that think I've been against Nigel are actually wrong. I'm concerned for reform. I don't care about the individuals. They mean nothing to me. The individual characters, the personalities mean absolutely zero to me. What should matter to all of us is the bigger picture, which is our country. Bob again, thank you, Bob. Tommy for Prime Minister. Not much chance of that, Bob, but I think you'd do a better job than the one we got at the moment. God, be hard to do a worse one, wouldn't it, really? But, you know, seriously, look. We have to look at the bigger picture. I think Nigel has got a problem. I don't know what it is. Whether he is being very clever, which is a possibility, and he's talking what he thinks to be the right language politically for now, is possible. I hope that's right. But he does appear to have taken some steps backwards recently. We won't go into the Tommy situation. In fact, I'll ask Tommy about that on Monday. And you can hear from the man himself what he thinks. I believe that Tommy's view will probably be similar to my own in that the bigger picture is what counts. But I do believe, and I will not backtrack on what I said and have been saying, I believe there are better people than Nigel to run reform. I think Lee Anderson is one of them. And I've said it before, I think Ben Habib is definitely one of them. But Nigel needs to be very, very, very careful of the rhetoric coming from Robert Jenrick. Robert Jenrick right now, forget Labour, forget Starmer, forget the Greens, forget the Lib Dems. The biggest danger to reform right now is Robert Jenrick and the Tories. Because a lot of you watching right now will be fully awake. I said this the other day, you'll be fully awake, you know what's going on. You guys are not going to have the wall pulled over your eyes. You're not daft, you're not stupid, you know the score. Look at the thousands of people at the Tory Party conference over the last few days. Thousands of them. They're not awake. The wall is still well and truly over at least one of their eyes. They got one eye open, maybe. Many of them will. But they're not awake. And Robert Jenrick will make sure they stay asleep or they only keep one eye open. Robert Jenrick, in my opinion, is a weapon of the Tory party to destroy reform, out Farage, and they can destroy what Nigel has built, and that is the danger. Trust me, remember what I've said, that is a massive problem. Simon, thank you, Simon. What we need, Paul, is a Prime Minister that listens to you, Tommy, Mayor, and the British people, which is why I've started looking into politics. I do want to be Prime Minister one day, Simon. I'm sure you'd make a good Prime Minister. Certainly better than the one we got now. But it's a very serious point, and I don't think it should be underestimated that Jenrick is saying all the right things. I like what he's saying. The problem is I just don't trust them. And we should never trust them again. They had 3 long terms to win our trust, our respect, our support, and our votes. And they blew it on every single occasion. We must never trust them again. Bob, correct, Paul. We need to spend our money with Jeremy Clarkson and co. We are stronger together. Absolutely. There's nothing illegal about choosing where you do and where you don't spend your money. Peter, 234. A government that cares, thank you, Peter, not for its veterans, will never care for its children or disabled or pensioners. There you go. In the nutshell, my usual and old mantra of a nation is judged by how it looks after its young, its sick, and its elderly, and we're not doing any of that. Vanda, thank you, Vanda. I totally agree, Paul. Jennifer is saying what we all want to hear. Exactly, Vanda, and do you trust them to deliver? This message is so important. I cannot underestimate what I think the Tories are up to with Robert Jenrick. They will lie and lie and lie and deceive, and they will deliver nothing. And if we're not careful, we will be back to square one. We must not allow that to happen. Reform must not allow that to happen. And Nigel has got to find his mojo. He's got to get it back. He's got to go on the attack. He's got to tell it how it is. And he has got to out-reform Robert Jenrick. And at the moment, he's not doing it. I believe the man to do that right now, as things stand, without any changes to reform, I believe that man's Lee Anderson. I'm going to play that lady's audio again because I think it was a very powerful message. If you didn't hear it earlier, have a listen to this.
Hiya, Paul. I'm 34. I live in London. I literally live about 10 minutes away from Keir Starmer's property in Kentish Town. I know Richard spoke about Kentish Town and the stabbing in a previous podcast. To be honest, Richard did have it a bit wrong. Yes, there are some beautiful properties and it is very expensive to buy around here, but we've also got a lot of council estates. Kentish Town itself is full of junkies. There's constantly something kicking off. Knife crime is going through the roof. Sexual assaults are increasing. And there are phone jackings happening every day by knife point. So it's not as pretty as Richard thinks. My daughter goes to a school around here as well, and the child poverty is literally, I didn't realise how bad it was.
This 2024, and this lady's talking about child poverty.
Until I was speaking with her the other day, and she's telling me about the number of children in her school that go all day without eating. Their parents work, so they don't get free school meals, but yeah, they have to starve all day. This is what our government are doing. Our children can't walk safely on the streets without the fear of being stabbed or robbed or set.
I cannot say how powerful this lady's message is. Children are not eating all day at school. They're being starved. They're walking to school in fear in England in 2024.
Sexually assaulted. Our children have to go hungry every single day at school. Child poverty is through the roof. Yet we're able to find money to pay for illegal immigrants, translators, for accommodation, to give them benefits, to give them mobile phones. We also seem to find a lot of money to send arms to other countries, and we seem to find a lot of money for foreign aid and also to reline the pockets of the EU. But we can't seem to find the money to stop our children from going hungry or put more police on the streets and make our streets safer. I'm absolutely sick to death of Sadiq Khan and Labour, and we had a warning on what Labour was going to be like, because we all know what it's been like living with Sadiq Khan as mayor for the last God knows how many years now, and whoever voted him, I don't know, but yeah, they need their heads testing, because our city is just getting worse and worse and worse, and our children have got no hope on a brighter future unless something changes dramatically. It's start time that Britain put our children first, protected them, and give them the best start to life.
Absolutely spot on. I'm so sorry that cut out there right at the end. I don't know why that did. But look, I mean, you know, I go back to, you know, about boycotting London. Right? Maybe we should have an official boycott London day. What an idea. Maybe we should do that. I mean, look, when you think about it, you got ULEZ, you got the congestion charge, you got the cost of the train fares. And when you get there, you got the concern about getting robbed. You got knife crime. You got terror supporters running around the streets. Sadiq Khan, thank you for delivering us the London that we have today. It's unforgivable. Simply unforgivable. Things have got to get better. And the only way that things are going to get better is with sensible, tough, determined action that gets a grip of our streets, that gets a grip of the criminals that are running around in these streets. The courts must start to act just like they did when they chucked a few rioters in prison. Get them working day and night if they have to. Get these people, these criminals, these street robbers, street rats, get them off our streets, get them in jail for very, very long time, for very long periods. And instead of letting people out to re-offend, if we have to, let's build another prison, or let's get these people shipped off to some island somewhere off the, I don't know, wherever. Just get rid of them. Let's get our streets cleaned, safe for our women and for our children and for everyone. And it's not just London, is it? So guys, look, don't forget, if you want to send in your voice message or your video message only, no regular WhatsApps, please. Unfortunately, I won't be seeing them. The person that has this phone then forwards them on to me. The number's 07512 371 006. It's at the bottom of the screen right now. That number again, 07512 371 006. Send me in your WhatsApp voice notes or your video messages, and they may be used in another show. Well, so I've got a video that I'm releasing tomorrow morning. You know, I'm afraid there's been a lot of things going on this week. A lot of things going on. Nina, thank you again. Lovely Anderson. We need to get rid of Khan for all the knife crime. Absolutely. Bob, thank you again. I love you, Paul. Love from Scotland and planet Earth. Let's keep our love together. Time to stand up, guys and girls. We need to unite the kingdom. That's what we need to do. Peter says, no, Paul, if you boycott London, that is to surrender. Okay, Peter, thank you very much for that. I'm not so sure that it is. I think makes a stand. It shows a point. You see what it is, Peter, and thank you for that, by the way. We need to find legal, peaceful ways of registering our discontent. And it's not easy. I'm not a great lover of street protests myself because they lead to problems. I'm not the biggest fan of street demonstrations, of street protests. I think they often don't achieve very much and they often get people into trouble. And we've seen that in the past. And I don't like seeing people get into trouble. So we have to come up with peaceful, unique ways of registering our discontent without the possibility of getting yourselves into any problems. And I think a day of action in respect of boycotting London, I think would be a good thing. I think it would send shockwaves through the city. And it's another way to show the government that the people of this country we're just done. We just had it up to here. But look, if you guys have got any suggestions, please feel free to send them in. But like I said, they have to be within the law. They have to remain peaceful. And they have to be, as I said, most importantly, they have to be within the law. It's as simple as that for me. Right, guys, lovely having you on with me again. Thank you so much. Don't forget the big one. Put a date in your diary. Monday, all being well. It's in my diary. It is in Tommy's diary. Monday, 8 p.m. Tommy's coming home and he's going to tell you all about that and his new book on Monday at 8 p.m. Thank you so much for joining us. Stay safe, stay well. I hope you have a lovely rest of the weekend and I'll see you soon. All the best, everyone.